Hello, happiness abounder, and welcome back. We are wrapping up our theme week all about how to be authentic, and this is one of my favorite techniques to do so. One of the fastest, easiest, and most effective ways to really embrace and uncover your most authentic self is through journaling. Now, I'm not going to go into all of the benefits of journaling and all of the amazing things that journaling can do for you in this episode. If you have not caught some of the episodes on journaling, I highly recommend going and checking those out. I have a whole theme week and series on journaling, so you can go to happinessabound.com, click in the search tab button thing in the top right, search journaling, and there'll be a slew of podcasts and articles and information about journaling. But that said, this is about self-expression and authentic self-expression through journaling. So, if you're like, what does that look like? Let's dive in. That looks like, first and foremost, being true to what's going on. Way too often, we tell so many stories in our head about what things are and lies about who we are and how we behaved or how we didn't behave, right and wrong, etc. And all those things get trapped in our head, and the more that we circulate those stories, which can be lies about who we truly are, we get further and further and further away from our most authentic selves. So one of the fastest ways to come back to that is to start by telling your day in its true form via journaling. So I'm not saying something like this. Today was a great day. I did X, Y, and Z, and it turned out well. Well, that's all I've got today. I'll check back in tomorrow. I'm not saying do that. What I'm saying is fully express. So, might look like, today was an okay day. I woke up and I was actually really frustrated and angry because I had to wake up and I hit snooze like 5 times. Then I was angry with myself because I hit snooze and now I was running late and behind and I didn't have time to do my full morning routine, which left me feeling a little disconnected than I normally am. But that's actually okay because by the time I got to work, stuff was evened out and I had my to-do list and I was ready to go. After work, there was no big issues, which was fantastic. I came home, I worked out, I ate dinner, and overall, it was actually a pretty okay day. I was a little frustrated about some guy that cut me off in traffic, but I was able to work through it, and here we are. That's about everything. Check back in tomorrow. Can you see how I added emotion and detail? I was honest with myself about how I handled something or didn't handle something. I was honest with, I felt a little disconnected. And as you can start to express how you feel throughout the day, the stuff that happens and how it makes you think, how it makes you feel inside, you can get really quickly aligned with your most authentic self because you're starting to pay attention to those things in a different way, fully knowing you'll be journaling about them. And when you start paying attention to them in a different way, you start analyzing them, assessing them in a different way. And then you start behaving in a slightly different way. And that takes you to your most authentic self of who you want to be versus the more raw person that you think you maybe are now. Right? So you tracking with me? So it's the first thing to do with journaling for being your most authentic self. Fully express what's going on. If you're mad, say you're mad. If you're frustrated, say you're frustrated. If you're lonely, say you're lonely. If you're feeling worried and you don't quite know why, say why. If you have a pain in your back that just came on suddenly, write about that, right? Don't shun the negative, air quote, emotions. Don't shun pain. Don't shun anger or anxiety or loneliness or fear. And don't negate the happy, positive feelings either. Don't just say today was great. Like if you had a moment of joy or you achieved something big and it was a win for you, share that, highlight that, talk about it to yourself in your journal. This will very rapidly connect you to your most authentic self. Instead of keeping all those stories in our head or justifying why we feel a certain way or how we should have acted, like put it out on paper. And you can start to change those thought processes, those patterns in the way that you want to. Now, if you're doing things in the way that you already wish you were, when you're celebrating your wins, you're connecting to your most authentic self as well. This is a place where you can brag, right? And it's not even bragging, it's just being excited. But we tend to pull back when it's with other people or just in our own head. Like, that was amazing, but, and I actually have a perfect example of this. Something that I need to write in my journal because I'm actually really proud and happy about it. But when I talk about it to other people, I kind of negate it a little bit, and I shouldn't. And that is that Happiness Abound, this podcast, was actually selected by a podcast and top articles, top website, top podcast, top blogs type of website as one of the top 20 happiness podcasts in the world. And I got this email, and it's from this place called FeedSpot. And I got this email, and they're like, hey, we've ranked you as one of the top 20 podcasts to listen to about happiness. I was like, oh my gosh, that is the coolest thing ever. And I'm thinking, woohoo, number 20, right? And I click on the link, I go to their webpage, and it says I'm number 1. Number 1, guys. Like, that is so awesome and so amazing. But when I talk about it to other people, I pull back a little bit. I'm like, well, one of the criteria was like frequency of posting, and I post every day, so yeah, I'm sure that's why it ranks number 1. And I downplayed it when I told people this last week. But if I actually look in it right now, in this expressing wholeheartedly to you, and I will also later to my journal, the fact I do a podcast every day and that got rewarded is freaking awesome. I'm number 1 on this list, and I actually beat out a couple of really, really amazing podcasts that I don't feel like I compare to at all. Like, they're worlds above me, and I got first. That is so exciting. But if I just said it to other people, like I have been, or I just said it in my head, I downplayed it, I justified it, all of these things, when my authentic self is stoked as all get out and really proud and happy about it. And I hope that's an example. This is, again, not to brag. This is not a space for that. But what it is a space for me to share with you authentically what's happening in real time. And in real time, in the last week, I completely downplayed this amazing accomplishment that I'm actually really excited for, because I let it sit in my head. I let that story roll around. I let myself speak about it to other people before I spoke about it truly to myself. And I pulled away from that most authentic self that wants to fist pump in the air with excitement. So that's just one random and new example in my life where I know that I need to connect through journaling my most authentic self, those positive, joyous emotions, those negative, hard emotions, to truly connect to who I want to be, analyzing situations so that I can be better, and really connecting in. So I'm going to leave you with that today. First off, that amazing news, which is awesome. Second off, the fact that through journaling and fully expressing how you're feeling is a very fast and easy way to really discover your most authentic self, to discover your passions and your joys, to discover what you like and what you don't like, what you respond to, what your values are, and what they aren't, and what you don't respond to. Because doing that can connect you very quickly. So I hope that this episode helped. If it did, please rate, review, and subscribe on your listening platform of choice. You can leave a review at Apple Podcasts or on Facebook if you do not have Apple Podcasts as your listening platform. You can go to facebook.com/happinessaboundblog, and there's a section to leave reviews there. Leaving a review helps other people find the podcast and join our Happiness Abound community. So please, if this episode resonated, please make sure it can be found by other people as well. So have a great day. Remember to fully express yourself through journaling so you can be your most authentic self. And remember, you are capable of happiness abound.